السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين. Welcome everyone. Inshallah, we will continue studying this very, very important example that the Quran presents to us, how we are going to really benefit from these examples and apply it to our spiritual world and have a wonderful, pleasant life here and in the next one. So now I think it is Anne's term to tell us what we have been doing and summarize it, the key points that we discussed last week, and prepare our mind to understand the text we are going to read today. Please, Anne.
Inshallah. Last week, we began the discussion by talking about a poor, wretched philosopher, which could be any philosopher, who asked, how can I be happy if I am experiencing continual death and loss? And according to Nursi, according to the Quran, we actually experience constant renewal at the same time that we experience constant death. And the renewal is seen all around us all the time if we look for it. For example, when we sleep and then wake up, when there's a change in seasons, even at the cellular level, there is constant renewal. So we have to remind ourselves of that. And when we do, it introduces to us that our body is His production and renewal is His promise in the hereafter. So we experience death and renewal all the time. We may not see life that way, but I think that if we do, then we won't look upon death as something to be afraid of. We also talked about how nothing in the universe can satisfy my human spiritual expectations except the necessary existent one. And actually, it's also the necessary existent one who satisfies our bodily needs as well, though we usually don't think about this either. For example, We take food for granted. We take water for granted. Even the air we breathe, we take for granted. All of these are needs, and a need is a promise from our Creator. Um, the layers upon layers of darkness represent that Jonah experienced, peace and blessings be upon him, represent hopelessness and despair. And it's so easy to fall into because we don't see the renewal aspects of life. So we need to look for those signs and be thankful for this. And one of our friends in the discussion talked about how the need for control, I always feel like I'm the one who needs to be in control, rather than submitting that control is based on our need for security. And then another one of our friends last week talked about how Nursey is an indictment of cultish beliefs in materialism and in cause and effect. Jonah, according to our friend last week, he expected the reason why he fell into darkness is because he expected his following to, um, as I understand it, to be punished for disbelief. And um, I'm not sure I understood completely, but it turned out to be a happy mistake. That's what my notes show. Maybe Brother Ali can elaborate on that. And then another one of our friends last week talked about how if we can get on that submarine, it would be our fast way to salvation. Because through the supplication of Jonah, the whale, the fish becomes a submarine as a means of rescue. And then finally, we talked um, about the concept of self-help and how that is actually an oxymoron. It's a contradiction in itself because how can you help yourself by yourself? So that was an interesting part of the discussion. Um, how this is a a continually popular um, genre, the self-help books. And that was last week's discussion. Inshallah, I hope I represented it accurately.
Yeah. Yes, generally covered up really the main points that we talked about. Thank you very much. Thank you. Beautiful notes and presentation of these notes taken from last week's discussion. Now, thank you. We appreciate your seriousness.
Oh, you're welcome. My
Well,
pleasure, inshallah.
yeah, thank you. Uh, while you were summarizing the last week's discussion, 2 points came to my mind. The first is human beings are created in a sense in this world that we ourselves are our spirits. Whatever makes us is what we are. But our body is like our submarine. So we have to use these bodily needs in order to understand in physical terms who is treating me in this world. While I am trying to satisfy my needs, although these needs are look like as if they are not good things to be in needy. It is not good for any human being to be in needy, but only through the needs that we realize who we are. and who our owner is. If we didn't need anything, we wouldn't know about our reality. So through the needs, through trying to find a way of satisfaction for the needs that we educate ourselves, we come to realize who we are. So although in a materialistic worldview, to be needy is something bad. But as far as the Quranic worldview is concerned, to be needy is the best way of understanding the reality, and it is good for our spirit to develop, to improve its purpose of existence, make it perfect as much as possible, make it perfect. For example, only through needs that we understand who is taking care of our being and how I can communicate with it. So this looks like a negative attitude towards our existence, towards the existence of the universe. Negative things only. I am only needy, so do you think I will never be satisfied? Not in this world. But you can find the way of satisfaction through traveling the needs, like through going in the belly of the fish of Jonah. So this belly of the fish is the submarine for Jonah to go on the shore and be safe there. So our needs are our submarines that we realize who is taking care of us. For this reason, Quran presents its fundamental understanding or fundamental uh, message through neediness in the very essence of oneness of God, absoluteness of God. Quran introduces the absoluteness of God, the infinity or infiniteness of God, if it is a right word, through negating what the reality of this world is, that it can be existing by itself. Saying La ilaha, it means I have to look at the universe and see it can really address my needs. Although I get through it as if I am getting the food uh, from the earth or all the producers. Uh, we collect from originally from the earth. So I understand that earth is created in such a way that, and it is unbelievable, the dirty things are used to grow the plants. The purest, the most beautiful, the smelling excellent, pleasant looking design comes out of the most disgusting dirt, fertilizers, animal wastes, the most disgusting, the worst material we use, the best result we get. That is how the construction of the universe is realized. created in this way. So when we look at the universe, we understand that it cannot happen by itself. There must be, as it is here described, we have to understand the causer of the causes, which means it seems to be the fertilizer is the cause of beauty of a flower, smell of a flower, but just the contrary. Fertilizer has no will, no power, no knowledge, nothing. And what comes out of it has nothing to do with fertilizer, and fertilizer has no knowledge, power, everything. So this contradiction is beautifully laid down on the fundamental message of the Quran in the same way. La ilaha illallah. There is nothing that we see. It seems to be causing something, can cause anything. La ilaha. But how about these seemingly causes? We see that if you do something, the result will be this. That is how the universe works. Yes, that's how it's presented to us. That is correct. The scientists are discovering how it is working, let alone their interpretations, some of them, the materialist ones, misinterpreted. We are aware of it. But the way the universe works is mind-blowing, impossible to understand that it works by itself. No way. So through this, we understand that there must be a cause of the whole universe. How he brings the universe into existence with his infinite, absolute qualities, manifesting and presenting himself to us. It becomes obvious. I mean, if you want to present a white object, you have to put it on a black background. So it really shows it. This is how the creation is witnessing the reality. How about the Quran? Yes, La ilaha says it, but that is the second point reminded me when Anne was presenting her summary notes of last week's discussion. Quran follows the same way. Incredible. How all the prophetic examples described in the Quran are taken in physical forms. Jonah is drawn in the sea, swallowed that fish. These are physical events. And then reached the shore and is saved, not by himself, but as it is interpreted delicately, by changing the mind, understanding, feelings, turned everything into positive, a positive attitude, going through La ilaha, no God, there is nothing, nothing has the power to create in the universe but He. So this fish, in fact, represents the submarine for human being. So Noah's example, Solomon's example, David's example, Moses' example, Yusuf's examples, all the narrations, stories of the prophetic prophetic examples in the Quran are presented to us in physical terms, like the Creator presents himself to human mind, human feelings through creating a physical universe. So what we have to understand now, this is how the universe is created. This is how I am created. My spirit operates only using physical limbs, members of my body. That is human reality. If I don't have my tongue, I cannot speak, although I want to speak. Now, that is human reality. We have to use our body. So, that is human reality. Our mind has to use the universe in order to understand its creator. Quran has to present us physical examples in order to understand the deep meaning of these examples, educating our spirit. So, universe is the submarine for a one who wants to acknowledge the reality. Human body is a submarine for a spirit who wants to acknowledge the reality. Quran is a submarine giving the examples. Well, half of the Quran is prophetic narrations, if not more than half. Really, if that's very interesting. Uh, this is definitely more than half of the Quran narrates the prophetic examples, because if we include the examples of the experiences that the Prophet Muhammad uh, experienced in this world, really it goes beyond half of the Quran, well beyond half of the Quran. I am thinking of the content of the Quran generally, really a two-thirds of the Quran. So this subject must be taken seriously, and we need to try to understand why the physically lived examples of the Prophet are presented to us in the Quran in the physical form rather than what we read here as the interpretation of it. So every human being will do it. For example, God willing, when we finish this Jonah's story, we will go on Ayub's story, Job's story, the famous uh, Hebrew Bible figure. Uh, we called Ayub in the Quran. So it will be presented to us again in physical form. Diseases everywhere, is, appalling body. Why? It will become this ill body will become a submarine, no different from Moses' stuff, no different from Noah's ark and Solomon's army, David's army. There's no difference between them. They are the same. Or prophetic narrations in this war, in that war, what happened? Quran doesn't tell us the story of a war. It happened in sometimes I've never seen it. Definitely, these need to be interpreted like we need to interpret the universe, like we need to interpret our physical needs. What do they refer to? What do they mean to me? So that I will train my feelings. So it is beautifully, really matching, if you like, this mean, uh, in our discussions, it is the taboo word, nature. So I would like to use it here. the nature of my existence, the nature of the way of the universe's existence, and the way that the Quran educates me are totally parallel to each other, confirming to each other. That is why this kind of interpretations fits the reality of existence that we are reading. But why does God clearly presents it, says, this is what I am giving an example, but this is your spiritual education? No, as if we are asking God to appear in front of our eyes, or as if we are expecting our existence functioning without body. It's against our disposition, the way we are created. So we have to use the tools in order to educate our spirit, to get ready. Who is presenting these tools to me? Everybody has a different level of understanding. Everybody has different uh, needs needs, which what education they need, how they should really try to uh, teach themselves who they are, what are they expected to do here, where they come from, what is going on in this strange world. We are given existence in the form of a baby. What are you doing here? What does it mean? Even I don't remember or understand when I was a baby, but see others and said, I was like this once, definitely. So at the end, growing, changing my life, starting start questioning who am I, what am I doing here after 15, 16 years, and then getting aging, getting old and dying. What's going on? We have to think about it. If we don't think ourselves, what's going on in my existence? Who's changing me? And all these feelings also operate continuously. If someone denies it, that's up to him. I cannot deny my spiritual existence, my feelings. I cannot reduce my feelings to uh, my matter developed it. It is ridiculous. So looking at today, I was looking at an animal here, which usually they live at night. So daytime they disappear. They were taking care of their babies. They say human feelings are affected or assumed, received from social uh, environment, from others. This materialist people said. I said, I don't know the name of the animal, which is rarely seen at night. So climbing up the tree and they take care of their babies as well, maybe trying to find a place to have a house for themselves. So they know. Do you think they learned it from the influence of their society? How to take care of their babies. Why should they take care of their babies? Why this sense of responsibility? And they know what they need. How did they learn it from the society? This ridiculous materialistic views are really invading now the world. But the reason is we look at the world as it is. those people who are exposed to the Quran, look at the word that it is matter. Forget about it. We believe in God. We believe in God. That's it. We lost the cue, starting point. And this is bodily need, not important. I need spiritual satisfaction. Bodily needs are nothing. So when they read the Quran, this is Jonah's story. Nothing to do with me. So he fell into the sea. I didn't. I don't know. So he said, La ilaha illa ente subhaneke inni kuntu minaz zalimin. He saved it. Okay, I will say, La ilaha illa ente subhaneke inni kuntu minaz zalimin. There is no God but you. Glory be unto you. Indeed, I was among the wrongdoers, and I will be okay. This way of the Quran, the least ridiculous, but in reality, insult to the reality of the Quran. Oh, it is very hurting to me. This precious guidance presented to us in the form of a gift to understand, help us understand what our reality is, seems to be reduced to just a storybook, history book, and prayer book by the believers. So those who don't believe in it, it is just a mythology, talking about a man fell into the sea and then a fish swallowed it up. That is just a myth. That is why this world is suffering now. Because those people who own, who know, who claim that it is their book, are treating the Quran in a ridiculous way, just against the nature of the method of teaching the Quran. Looking at the universe and seeing is nothing to do with religion. My body has nothing to do with religion, my belief. So the same attitude is reflected on the Quran. Now we see that this tradition has some roots in Islamic literature, scholarship. That time, those great scholars were studying the Quran according to the needs of their time. But now, impossible to read in the same way. We, out of respect of our scholars, cannot say that, thank you very much. We really appreciate your work. I know you satisfied the needs of your age. I am taking you as an example and learning the technicalities, but I would like to develop a method of reading the Quran according to the needs of my age. As you did develop a method of reading the Quran according to the needs of your need. Great job they did. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions, volumes of books they produced. We are not aware of them. I'm very sorry about my own weaknesses, ignorance of those sources. But at the same time, we have to be, if you like, I would like to use this phrase, brave enough to say that I cannot imitate a book which is addressing to the needs of 12th century, 18th century. I cannot really bring it to my living conditions. That is what the believers in the Quran must be aware of it and must accept it and do something about it. We are, alhamdulillah, we are so fortunate that this book we are reading is doing that, presenting the method to us. So we have to update this method, inshallah, going into the almost uh, uh, second quarter of the 21st century, inshallah. Now, long introduction, boring maybe, but I am very excited about this relationship. As I was speaking, I said, no, yes, there is connection between all of them. And they are all these three elements, the universe, the human beings, and the Quran, work hand in hand. This composition must be united. So I will use my bodily needs. I will use the universe as it is materially existing out there. And I will use the uh, physical examples in the Quran and find out the solution, salvation for my spirit. That is the only way that we can go through. Inshallah. We should be brave enough of doing that. Inshallah, the new generation will utilize this. Inshallah. Okay, any more comments, concerns, questions about this long introduction, which is exciting for me. That's why I shared it with you.
I just wanted to say thank you for that um, beautiful introduction and reminding us of how important Nurse's work is, um, and how I just personally wish that more people were studying the Quran using Nurse's understanding. It's truly life-changing. Inshallah. Thank you.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, I think Colin wants to say, share his understanding. I would like to.
Assalamu alaikum. Just a very quick observation. Going back to what you were saying about need and tying it in with the obsession that we have and the obsession that is indoctrinated in us to believe in causes. Why we are it's reticent, it's very difficult for us to move away from the idea of causality. We impute ownership to causes because we also want to impute ownership to ourselves. And if we are, as you said, if Allah is absolute, if God is absolute, then we are also absolutely needy. And if you're absolutely needy, it means you don't have ownership over anything. And therefore, this is why, from the very moment that we're born and educated, or I should say, mal-educated, in these secular materialist indoctrination centers that we call schools, they fortify this idea that we are actually, we have some kind of agency and sovereignty, and that we have to work on it and make it greater and become stronger and all of these things. And this militates against any possibility of understanding actually that we have a need. And as you said, materialist society doesn't like the word need, even though everyone has needs. But as soon as the need is felt, people need to somehow fulfill it so that they don't feel it anymore. Because feeling need means you know who you are, and people don't want to know who they are because it's too frightening and it's too pregnant with responsibility. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Just summarized the subject I was trying to share with you. only through our neediness, absolute neediness, we cannot create anything, can we understand the absolute provider. If I don't realize my infinite neediness, I would never, there will be no way to understand the infinite provider. So this method of approaching the world and our reality, that we appreciate the one who created us with infinite need. We say, thank you, God, creating me with infinite need. Only through this need that I can get to know who you are, who my Lord is, inshallah. So, thank you.
Can I also add one thing just really quickly to what our friend Colin said, is that in secular society, being self-sufficient seems to be the primary quality that everyone admires and strives for. It's emphasized constantly in education. Being needy is considered weak. So it's a almost like it's an uphill battle to change that that way of thinking. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So we can read this one paragraph,
Yes.
the long paragraph, but let's read it and see. Yeah.
Oh, yes. With the sentence, "There is no God but you," we draw the gaze of mercy upon our future with the word "Glory be unto you." We draw it upon our world with the phrase, "Indeed, I was among the wrongdoers."
Mhm.
We draw it upon our soul, which is awareness of egoistic considerations. Thus, our future is illumined with the light of belief, and the moonlight luminosity of the Quran and the awe and terror of the night are transformed into tranquility and joy. Then, too, embarking on the ship of the truth of Islam, fashioned in the dockyard of the most wise Quran, we may pass safely over the sea of this earthly abode, which through the alternation of life and death is bordered by corpses unnumbered, borne on the waves of the years in centuries and cast into nothingness. Once aboard the ship, we may reach the shore of salvation and fulfill our life's duty. The raging storm and surging of the sea will appear a series of pleasing images on a screen, and instead of inspiring terror and dread, will delight, caress, and illumine the reflective and the meditative gaze. By virtue of the mystery of the Quran and the effect of that criterion of truth and falsehood, our soul will no longer ride us, but instead become a mount. And as we ride it, it will be for us a powerful means for the attainment of life everlasting.
So somehow, would you like to share your first impressions on the paragraph? Anyone?
I just have one comment about the tempest. Let me see, where is it? Something where he says the tempest and surging of the sea will appear as a series of pleasing images on a screen.
Hmm.
And instead of inspiring terror and dread, will delight, caress, and illumine the reflective and meditative gaze. I guess my question is, particularly the raging storm and surging of the sea will appear a series of pleasing images on a screen. I'm just wondering if that's being, I'm not being critical, but given what's happening today, um, is this too rosy? I mean, the raging storm, the pleasing images on a screen, the, you still see them. I mean, you still see the storm. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I'm just thinking that um the reality of life is that the storm and the waves are really ugly. Like, for example, the wars going on in Gaza and in Lebanon. I don't know how you can transform those into pleasing images. I guess that's my question.
Yeah, one of them, one more is coming, don't worry. I,
Yeah, I know.
I recently heard that this Syria is boiling now.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, no, so
So I
what
should add that to the list.
yeah, no, uh, uh, something is interesting that in the Muslim world is this storm on the screen is going on. We have to see what is the message in it. Like we are reading Jonah's story. He was, as it is presented in physical form, worse than what we see on the screen. Swallowed up, darkness, waves, and fish captured. Oh, darkness within darkness, as the Quran describes it, dhulumat. Now, darkness upon darkness, upon darkness. Now, do we not expect it to understand the message from it? The screen is showing this world. For example, when I look at the universe also in winter, storms. People don't like it, and we are expected just to stay at home, don't go out. That seems to be not pleasant. But only through the creation of winter, spring appears on the screen. This is how we are educated. As I presented my long introduction, I said only through this neediness we can understand the reality. Now, Muslim world, as far as I understand, the wisdom in the creation, the Quran is somehow functions as a pivot of the world, earth, turning around, revolving. This axis, the Quran axis, is so important. This Quran must be presented to the world. What are we doing? We are the ones who are aware of the Quran, not those Chinese or people from Taiwan, Japan. No, they are not, they don't even know that such thing exists. What did we do? we turn to Quran into a storybook, law book, prayer book, not belief. How should I make my life meaningful? How can I benefit from this Quran's message? We just use it when we are in trouble, some verses that help me, help me. What have you done to deserve to use this verse of the Quran to ask people to help you? Have you received any help through the Quran from Allah, from the Creator, God? Now, Allah keeps urging the Muslims, hey, what are you doing? What have you done to my trust, to my gift to you, which is the uh, axe of the word or pivot of the word? What have you done with it? How much did you spend time on it? So these responsible people who are given the opportunity to get acquainted with the Quran, what are they doing? God says, okay, you want to have a happy life? I will never let you. You mistreated my trust. I'm not going to give you any more, and you will deserve this. Either you wake up and act according to the Quran, leave these ambitions of the world, and don't get loose into the world, and understand, utilize it, and do what you are expected to do, and pay due respect to the Quran to benefit from it. Do we have any great commentator on the Quran now? Not anymore. Not anymore. Nobody. Last centuries didn't produce great scholars. Why? Quran is, taken as a sacred book, prayer book. That's it. Respected. That's it. Book is respected, not speech of God is respected. No one is heeding the speech of God, really. Everybody is not, including myself, mostly busy with what message we receive in our toy, telephone, or computer, mostly telephone. God is speaking to us continuously. We don't see anything. So this raging storm, surging of the sea, will appear a series of pleasing image on the screen only if we use, where is it? The meaning of there is no God but you. Glory be unto you. Indeed, I will make it plural. We were among the wrongdoers. We mistreated your most precious trust, the Quran, the universe, human neediness. We didn't take notes of. We didn't say, La ilaha illa ente subhanike inni kuntu minal zalimin in our practical life. So always priority to to this worldly side of our life. Try to make more and more comfortable bodily life, It doesn't mean we shouldn't, but we should utilize it. Turn the belly of the fish into submarine. Try to understand the Quranic message through our struggle for our while we are trying to satisfy our bodily needs. Unfortunately, we have a big responsibility. For example, if you are in a position to give very simple example, as the Quran gives the simplest example. Two people, you give one of them, let's say $1 million, and say, go and make business with it and make some profit. Be careful. Why? Be wise. And you gave $10 to the second one, and you said, come on, do something with this $10. And the poor guy, $10, said, I can only feed myself with it. How can I make a business with $10? So you, as the one who gave this, expect anything from this man, that how much profit you made out of it? Nothing. And of course, you know that it is only enough for his daily bread. But you call 1 million, the one who you gave $1 million, what have you done with it? He said, I just ate and got a dress, a nice dress with it. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? I think you would say, okay, get this dress, get off from her. Take the dress away as well. That's what's going on the screen of the Muslim world now. I'm not justifying the tyrants. I'm not justifying this injustice on the other side, but I see that they are employed by the one who says, okay, get out of my from me and get this clothes as well out. Take it out. This is mine. These are, as the Quran says, sometimes Allah helps his truth by utilizing the wrongdoers. We have to understand, and we have to take, it doesn't mean that these people deserve it and live it. No, 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 no. We have to take lesson from it. If I don't take this emanah, this trust of the Quran seriously, then if not in this world, but in the screen of my life, in the next creation will be very stormy and surging. That's what I am afraid of for myself. Okay. Now, although the time is up, but I wanted to discuss this point. With the help of the Quran, which is described here, by virtue, by virtue of the Quran, by virtue of the mystery of the Quran, it means the way he teaches and the effect of the criterion of truth and the falsehood, which is really the, how do you say, the Quran's presents itself as the criterion of truth and falsehood, El-Furqan. Quran says, I am El-Furqan. It means I am the criterion of truth and falsehood. So by using this, our soul, which means ego here, not spirit. So our ego will no longer ride us, but instead become a mount, like Jonas. If you don't mind, a few minutes, please. The time is up, I know. So this ego, like Jonas, belly of the sea, belly of the whale or fish, in the dark sea, that is our egotistic concerns, self-centric concerns, worldly, transient world taking up the priority position. That is ego. The word represents ego here. Will no longer ride us. We will use it, as we in the introduction we talked about it. We will use our needs. We will use our body to understand the reality, but instead become our mount. It means it will become my submarine to take me to the shore of salvation. Now, as we ride it, if we use this submarine, it will be for us a powerful means for the entertainment of the ever living life, entertainment of life everlasting. We will utilize the material side of the world to understand who its creator. I will utilize the bodily side of my existence in order to understand. While I'm trying to satisfy my bodily existence, I will understand who is providing all these needs that I need. Who is providing this sun? Who is providing the water, air, atmosphere, earth, and plants and animals? Who is doing that? And beautiful things that I am enjoying here. Who is doing this? Only using the Quranic criterion that we understand, which is, we talk in the beginning of today's discussion, La ilaha illallah. Without La ilaha, we cannot reach illallah. So I wanted to say, rather than this worldly concerns taking the priority in our life, they will ride us, on us. We will carry them. Sorry, we will take them up, and we will be slaves of these worldly concerns. If we use Quranic guidance, for example, understand this verse and present to the society as, look, it is a physical description of a prophetic example in the Quran. In your life, it has nothing to do with it. It's physical description. It is just an analogy that you have to use in order to understand your ocean. You are fallen in the ocean of your bodily needs. And how can you save yourself? Causes have no effect. Only the one who creates the universe is by guidance. And I will try to find him up through whatever I am obtaining from this world. This is God's presence to me, God's gift to me. So everything will be upside down, inside out. So, inshallah, I could summarize the message we learned from this paragraph. Sorry for the time lap. Anybody would like to add, ask anything? Otherwise, we can stop here, and inshallah, next week we can start from in short. What do you think?
Oh, yes, I think I don't want to rush through the in short because his in shorts are always have a lengthy meaning, so it's not like we can just breeze through it.
Yeah, we can
Right.
go through it. If we see some points that we need to emphasize on it, it needs explanation. Otherwise, we can move on to the second flag. That's
Yeah,
enough.
sure, absolutely.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر سورة الفاتحة.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Walaikum salam.